Imagine having a mirror that talks back. It takes in your tone, your arguments, your language, and reflects them back. The question is, what do I do with what I see? Do I face it or pretend it's not mine? Let's run an audit. The question is everywhere. Is AI a threat? But when we talk about cognition, what exactly do we mean by threat? One fear is that the machine thinks better. For that to be true, thinking will have to be nothing more than information processing. Another fear is that the AI removes cognitive friction, making human thinking weaker or even unnecessary. For that to be true, we'd have to be willing to surrender our agency. Then there's the oldest fear, machines replacing human cognition altogether. But that scenario assumes something crucial, that humans already chose to give up their agency. And these fears aren't irrational. Part of it is classic catastrophic thinking. Part of it is pattern recognition. We've seen this before. Digital amnesia showed us exactly what cognitive outsourcing looks like. We stopped remembering phone numbers because our phones remember for us. We stopped memorizing facts because search engines retrieve them instantly. Now the same pattern feels more serious. Are we about to outsource our judgment? Why decide if the machine can decide for me? But most of this fear starts somewhere small. This thing sounds smarter than me. It creates cleaner art. It solves problems faster. It explains things more clearly than me. Before we even stop to question the comparison, the brain makes a quick shortcut. Machine better, human worse, threat confirmed. So let's slow that comparison down. When I compare myself to the LLM on my phone, I'm really just comparing outcomes. Let's take art. I try to draw a vase. It's asymmetrical, flat, imperfect. I take a picture of it and I send it to the model. What comes back is a vase that looks cleaner, symmetrical, polished. I compare the two and I conclude machine 1, self 0. But now look at the inputs. Me, one human mind, trying to capture my perception of reality. The machine, my input, plus millions of human examples, weighted toward what humans tend to reward visually. One has attention, the other has consensus. So what I'm really seeing isn't a machine outperforming me. It's my work reflected back through everything humans have collectively made and approved. But the machine itself was never part of the comparison. The real question isn't whether the machine draws better. It's what its output reveals about my own technique. The AI versus humans debate is misplaced. At scale, it's still humans versus humans. At the individual level, it's me versus me. But what does this mean in practice? LLMs are new, and the research is still developing. That makes grand claims premature. But it also means the debate is running ahead of the evidence. When studying AI and cognition, research usually focuses on education, where outcomes can actually be measured. And research does find cognitive improvements, but outcomes vary. The real question is, what explains that variation? Researchers often look at something called self-regulated learning. It measures how actively someone takes charge of their own learning. In other words, how much cognitive agency we use. Imagine a user who has handed the tool full control. They copy the problem into a text box, then copy the answer into a document, no further effort, no questioning, just marking it done and moving on. That's what low self-regulated learning looks like. Now imagine another user using the tool differently. They take the same problem, adjust it to their level, use AI to clarify what they don't yet understand, then question the validity, check sources, then decide if they actually got it. Only then is the exercise complete. That's what high self-regulated learning looks like. Self-regulated learning is essentially a measure of how much someone questions the mirror instead of just accepting the reflection. And it turns out it is one of the strongest predictors of who actually benefits. Users who keep their cognitive agency learn more. Passive users learn less. Same tool, different outcomes. The difference is agency. So what does agency actually look like when you use AI? AI will always give you an answer that reflects your question, and your question reflects your agency. What happens if you stop treating AI like an oracle? What if you start asking it to become your student? One of the strongest learning strategies we know is this. Explaining a concept forces you to confront what you don't understand. This is known as the Protégé effect. AI can simulate this process, and it can do it with one key advantage. It removes the ego threat. There's no pressure to impress or fake competence. Instead of asking for answers, ask the model to be your student or your opponent. Now the goal changes. You are no longer saying, give me the answer, polish my thinking, reflect me back, but better. You are saying, show me where my thinking breaks. You are surfacing logic gaps that the polished answer would have otherwise buried. This is one of the most powerful uses of LLMs in learning, both inside and outside formal education, in any context where your assumptions need pressure testing. Because the mirror reflects what you bring to it. Ask for validation, you get a polished reflection. Ask for friction, you expose your gaps and keep your agency. AI exposes the thinking that's already there. So the threat isn't really about the machine itself, but what the machine reflects and what we are willing to see. AI becomes what it really is, a cognitive mirror. And mirrors don't judge, don't think, they don't have agency. We do. And as far as cognition goes, that might be the only difference that matters.